The internet is a marketplace of morons, which makes this ironical.
Funniest moments 2019. Let's go around the horns, kick up the tempo here, and have some freaking fun.
I've got a list.
Beautiful.
All right. Yeah, we had a lot of great funny moments. You heard it in the intro. We have a lot of fun on here.
Yeah.
Funny moments, man. What are some of the ones that made us laugh the most? Mike, you got a list over there.
Well, I had just, kind of meandered through some of the video moments that we put together this year.
Yeah.
And that jarred my memory. I'd forgotten about all of them, okay? Here's one. Dale Jr., just out of the blue, no warning. Has anyone among the four of us at one time in their lives shit their pants? And that and you did a similar, and that ended up being a 20-minute conversation, I guess.
Yeah.
Dale Jr., you also, one of the funny moments of this year was you had already told us the story about peeing in Ricky Hendricks' closet.
Yeah.
But when Jimmy Johnson sat here and you brought it up, and Jimmy said, I didn't know if you were going to bring this up or not, but it was clearly in his mind, and that was a hilarious moment.
Ricky Hendrick was having a party at his house. I don't know what the occasion was.
So I won in Fontana and was so far away from all of our friends that we never had a chance to really celebrate. And Ricky said, the next race you win, you're on the East Coast. We're having a party at my house that night.
Okay.
Okay.
And he lived in this gated community down in Charlotte, and he texted me and was like, come over. And I was like, oh, man, I don't know half your buddies, and that's y'all's thing, and come on. And I'm like, all right, I'll go. And I was by myself and drove over there. And, man, I mean, there's cars everywhere in the streets. And
Ricky had no business living in this beautiful neighborhood house either.
Yeah. And I walk
Plastic furniture and a bunch of rowdy guys running around.
Yeah. I walk around out back, and there's, I don't know, 50, 75, 100 people there maybe. There's a lot of people.
Yep.
I recognized some of them. I had hung around Ricky before on the lake and stuff. And we just hung out and for hours, just celebrating, talking, laughing. And
we got the wild hair that we should pour everything that was
anything that would make bubbles.
Anything that would make bubbles in the hot tub.
Right.
What, laundry detergent?
Everything.
Anything.
Anything in
Dish
the house.
soap. Yeah.
We went through 2 stories of the house looking for anything that would foam and poured it in the hot tub.
Yeah. And so
this is where things went south, right?
Yes. Right.
Yes.
And so the hot tub's at one end of the pool, the shallow end, and you.
Why would you put the hot tub at the shallow end?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
This makes no sense.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are thinking logically on the design of the pool as you're pouring soaps into the pool.
Well, no, we're thinking of that almost 20 years later.
In hindsight, gotcha.
And so there's a handful full of us in the hot tub, and man, it was hot. Had it cranked up pretty high.
Most are.
And I'm like, I am burning up. I got to get in this swimming pool, cool off. And so I jumped into the pool and dove into the shallow end and hit my head.
I'm telling you, it looked like a cartoon when you see the cartoon character dive in the shallow end and their feet are still sticking up. I swear he stopped and his feet were still there, and I was like, this isn't going to end well.
Yeah.
And he stands up, and, man, I think I hit my head, and there's blood just flowing. I'm like, I'm pretty sure you hit your head.
I think you did too.
Yeah. And it was like a X. Like I hit it flat, and it sort of just popped an X right in the center of my head. Yeah. Like, so it was an X-shaped hole. And I was embarrassed to death. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning. And
for sure. In that hour or two.
Peak hour of the party. I mean, it's still chugging along, this party.
Yeah.
And I've done ruined everything, right? I'm the guy that causes the fight, or the guy, you know what I mean? Somebody throws up in the middle of the room or whatever. So here I am. I'm like, I got invited out here. I'm not, I was lucky enough to get asked to come out there, and here I am done ruined it. And Jimmy is like, we got a guy. We got HMS has a doctor. He's on call. I mean, he'll meet us and we'll get this fixed. And I was like, are you sure? Not a problem whatsoever. So Jimmy's going to break away from the party that they're celebrating him, his win, the success and all that. And so Jimmy got me to the hospital. And we met this guy in this clinic. So he unlocks the door and walks us in, and he's like, oh, it's fine. You're going to be fine. I'm like, okay, good. I was like, it's going to be a big scar. No scar. You ain't going to have no scar. And so I was like, man, this is great. I thought the worst, but this is gonna. And so he lays me down on this table and he puts this little sheet over my head, and starts to go to work. And Jimmy's over in the corner playing with all the tools. So Jimmy, like I'm sitting
I guess
there,
you can do that when you know the doctor.
Jimmy's
know the
walking
doctor
around
and
there
he shows
going
it
like,
in the
"What does this
middle-
do?" Ding, ding, bang, 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 banging on stuff. And it was just a real funny scene. And guy sewed me up, and he's like, "Hey, don't go to sleep right away." And I was like, "Not a problem." I was like, "We're gonna go back start back drinking beer." So we went back to the house, and I was like, "He told me not to go to sleep, so I guess we got to sit up and drink some more beer." So we got right back to it.
That would have
gotta
been
do
some
it
good
for
advice
us.
on top of the no sleep is probably don't go get drunk again, right? But
He left that part
He
out.
left that out?
Yeah.
I did end up peeing in the closet that night.
Oh, I didn't know if you were going to go
Yeah.
there.
By all means.
I didn't know if you were going to go there.
Oh, you remember this?
I do.
Yeah.
How do you remember this?
I was passed out on the floor, and I heard a commotion, and I looked up, and Dale was sleepwalking and
Yeah.
had the closet door open and thought it was the bathroom.
Yeah.
You told this story recently, and you did say you sleepwalked.
Yeah.
I
Which
just, thought, I just
so
thought that's something people say right before they pee in a closet.
I never.
There's a reason to justify it.
Well,
or
that's my
something,
only experience.
As if that did it.
Oh, no.
Seeing it, but I was like, he's not going to. Like, whoa, wait, Dale, he's wake up.
I know. So I woke up standing up peeing. This is how it happened. I've never sleptwalked in my life, as far as I know. And when I woke up, it was because somebody was saying, "Hey, Dale, hey!" And I woke up and I'm like, "Oh no! Oh no! Oh yeah!
Oh, yeah.
It was upstairs in this loft over the garage, and it was empty, just carpet room, wasn't finished.
But this is Ricky's house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
It wasn't his closet. It wasn't like a spare. It wasn't like a guest
Well,
bedroom closet.
right,
Of all
right.
the closets,
Doesn't
this
make
was-
it okay, but
this
all
is the
right.
one to pee in. If there was
If
a closet,
to pee in, that's the
Yeah,
one.
That was the one.
Well, good to know that even when you're sleeping, you
Yeah.
still know which closet is the best to pee
yeah,
in. I thought that Joe Gibbs recalling the contract negotiation
yes,
was hysterical. And because, you don't know if these guys, Joe Gibbs got a lot on his plate.
But what was
Does he
funny
really-
about that one?
And I said, do you remember? He goes, oh, yeah, I remember it. And then the fact that Dale Jr. basically wouldn't even look at the numbers and didn't even want
But then he went into damn pimento cheese.
talked
The
about
tomatoes.
pimento cheese. Right.
Yeah.
That was hysterical. Boy, you're talking about the pig on jack stands.
Oh my gosh. That's on my list. Hilarious.
It was hysterical, right?
Smoker.
I'm kind of the same way. I got the 4 buffalo that people gave to me that are still on my property. We've had longhorn steers that have came through and
Yeah.
they're no longer with us. Do you have any animals?
Oh yeah. Well, when you have kids, you'll see. Wait till your your wife and your daughters, they're soon gonna gang up on you. You have this farm that you talk about. You think you have animals. You wait till they start rescuing is what happens.
Oh, yeah.
They'll start rescuing everything. You'll have cats.
Was your wife
Cats are-
always into rescuing animals,
No,
or is it
not
just
until we had
had a
Oh,
child?
we got a farm, got a barn.
Yeah.
You got stalls in the barn. You got to fill it. You got to put these animals in there. She got into pigs.
Really?
Oh yeah. Let me give you a little
Leah.
bit of
Yeah.
advice. Do not allow your wife to convince you that we ought to have pigs.
How come?
If you want one pig, have one pig. While I was gone, her and my old man thought it was a good idea that he needed a girlfriend.
Oh,
Let me tell
lady
you.
pigs are tough.
Oh. Up to, I
got
think
bit
a
by one
litter
in
of
Daytona.
9 or no, 9 or 13 or something 3 times a year, Jack.
Wow.
Yes.
Really?
You enter the pig business very fast, very fast. Well, I got out of the pig business very fast. I put a stop to that. The girlfriend was gone, and he was out on jack stands, which is a smokered pit.
Yes. What I loved Dave Marcus for so many reasons, but when Loretta Lynn interrupted our show,
Oh
and see, we forget about this, and we said, Dave, Loretta Lynn, the country singer, do you know who she is? Yeah. Well, she's apparently in the lobby. I love her. Let's get her in here. And then so I just thought those were some fun moments. That was a little starter list for you because times that we had that I thought were pretty fun.
I always enjoyed some of our ad reads. The ad reads for us, believe it or not, typically our fans probably think, ad read, it's not part of the show. I want to hear the show. I want to hear what you guys are going to talk about. But the ad reads are we kind of personalize them, which I think is I don't dread reading them. I look forward to reading them, and I look forward to sort of seeing how we're going to spin whatever it is that we're trying to sell. And we've learned a lot about these companies that have been supporting our podcast, and we've actually, I didn't know that we were going to be able to try a lot of the products. I mean, pretty much everything that's came through here, we've had our hands in and been able to get our hands on, and that makes the ad reads even more enjoyable. But for me, the ad reads are always a lot of fun. Trying to mess with Mike is fun.
But, come on, you never did that, did you?
Our Matthew's audio files at the start of the show that kickstart the show are always usually really hilarious. Probably every time that he puts one of them together, we get a good snicker. And all of the John Force interviews.
Yes.
I mean, it was just...
How have we gone this far?
I know, that's what I have written down here.
So John Force came in here, and it was like...
Tornado.
Yeah.
That's right.
Unreal.
Right.
And he's talking about Pornhub and just...
Seeing Elvis.
Yeah.
What was the Elvis? The Elvis story?
We got that clip.
I've got an Elvis room in my house.
Yeah.
A whole room. So I'm a big Elvis fan too. When I was a little boy, and Dad was off racing.
He's still a little boy.
I know,
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, when Dad would race, sometimes I'd go stay with his mom, my mamaw, and Martha. Huge Elvis fan, and she played Elvis all the time. So I and she had figurines, the little wine bottles, the head pops off and all that.
Yeah.
She had a house full of Elvis stuff, and so I became an Elvis fan, and I've always had a room in my house that's dedicated to Elvis. And so I wanted to know more about your fandom for Elvis and leaving tickets. Had he passed away? Were you leaving the tickets after he passed away, thinking that he was still alive?
I saw Elvis at 1,000 foot at Memphis when I was on fire. And let me tell you something. I crawled out on my hands and knees. I thought I was dead.
Yeah.
And I remember I was praying to God, like, let me stand. Let me get up out of this thing. I'll go back to church. I'll quit. I'll finish the Bible. That was 40 years ago. And I crawled out of there. And I stood up. My TV guy said, "What did you see?" But my brain snapped right out of that fear mode, just like you guys do. And I went, I saw Elvis at 1,000 foot, and they made a book out of it. And I never got a penny from that. Somebody wrote a book. I saw Elvis at 1,000 feet. But you just grow up with people that you love.
Yeah.
I was never a Beatles fan, even though, I loved some of their songs. Gideon's Bible, everything religious I read.
Did
I
you
go in
ever
my
see-
hotel room and I'd fall out. Yeah.
Did you ever see Elvis play?
No, never did.
Yeah.
Of all the three people I want to meet one day. Seriously, okay. I want to meet your daddy again. I want to meet Elvis and Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay,
Three good ones
a
right
good-
there. Somebody try to beat
plan.
that list. And then, do you remember this? The interview finally ended. We start doing the rest of our show, and then he comes barging back in
Yeah.
and throws a $100 bill on the table.
For sure. What was that for?
He
went-
wanted to go buy stuff in the gift store,
Oh.
For his
Souvenirs.
grandkids.
and they wouldn't take his money.
Ah.
And so he came and put that $100 in here.
Yeah.
Where'd that $100 go? Anybody know?
How many times?
Your pocket?
Dustin's raising his hand.
How many times were we in that interview and you'd ask him about something, and he'd be like, bah, 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 and he'd go off at like some tangent, and then he'd be like,
What was the question?
wait, what was the question?
Oh, yeah,
That's
yeah.
classic John
Yeah.
Force.
I loved him when I piped in with something. He's like, "Hey, this is me and Dale Jr.'s show here." And I'm like, "Yeah, you're right." But he was a trip, man. God, that guy.
That was Force on next level. Like,
Yeah.
I obviously was around him for a very long
I'll
time, and it was like, that was 10 times what I've ever seen. It was
I enjoyed when we brought Letard in here for the
Yeah.
film,
Oh, yeah, I
film
forgot about
review
that.
of
Yeah.
Days of Thunder. That was a nice little change of pace to bring in someone just for a few moments to do something, just a little bullet.
Plus,
was
we did a
fun.
great
Yeah.
service to his life.
Yes, we did. Yeah. Tony Stewart was hilarious.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite moments,
he's,
actually.
he's always honest.
You know, playing those Tony Stewart sound bites with Tony Stewart at the table
Yeah.
was fun, and getting his reaction to them was hysterical because he still feels very much the way he felt when he was given these, audio gold.
But the racing definition one, we'll roll that one first.
Is there anything that NASCAR or the IMS can do to create a little bit more passing in these races? Because since '04, there just hasn't really been a lot of passing.
Look up racing in the dictionary and tell me what racing says in the dictionary. And then look up passing in the dictionary and tell me what passing is. We're racing here. So that's all I'm going to say. This is racing, not... If you want to see passing, we can go out on 465 and we can pass all you want.
Good one.
And then, of course, Mike Massaro. I think you wrecked at Daytona, and this happened.
How much does this affect your chances of winning the 500?
I don't know, rocket scientist. I mean, I'm sitting with a backup car. What do you think?
If we wrecked, what chances do you think we have now, dumbass? I mean, come on.
And then this one was after the second Brickyard win. I remember standing next to you for this one. I thought this was cool.
All right, you win again at the Brickyard. Tony, can you put this one in comparison to the last one?
This one's for every one of those fans in the stands that pull for me every week and take all the bull from everybody else.
And, hey, we could play these all day long, but that Talladega one, this is, Tony always gave us crap.
Mike Arning's going to have a heart
Oh,
attack
he's
right
gonna
now
love
listening to
this.
this because this like literally puts him back in therapy. He has to go to therapy for
Well, he's
3 or
in
4
this
weeks.
He
to
was
get
in
over
the
this.
Talladega one.
yeah.
He was in the background, and he was like keeping that straight face.
Sorry we couldn't crash more cars today. We didn't fill the quota for today for Talladega and NASCAR. If we haven't crashed at least 50% of the field by the end of the race, we need to extend the race till we at least crash 50% of the cars because it's not fair to these fans for them to not see any more wrecks than that and more tore up cars. I mean, we still had over half the cars running at the end, and it shouldn't be that way. I don't think any of the wrecks were an overheating issue. That's why I say I think we ought to just tape them off solid and run them until they blow up anyway. I think it'd make it a lot more exciting for the fans. If we don't crash half of the field by the end of the race, they really need to extend it because, I mean, that's what the fans want. They want to see that excitement. It would have been a lot more fun if I could have got caught up in one more wreck. If I could have done that, it would have been perfect. I mean, I think if we could make it a figure 8, it'd be perfect.
Oh, my God.
See, NASCAR's made the adjustments. We crashed all but 3 cars yesterday. The formula's
took your
working.
advice.
The formula's working.
Oh, and
That's
of course, the best one so far in
Tears
the
in
whole
my
thing. I know we're all crying here.
Well, Tony, what angered you at the end of the race? What did you take issue with?
What the hell do you think I was mad about? Dumb little runs us clear down to the infield. He wants to about everybody else, and he's the one that drives like a little. I'm gonna bust his ass.
Thanks, Tony.
Oh my
Thanks,
God!
Tony.
You know what that just reminded me of? It reminded me of AJ Foyt at Nazareth talking about Jeff Andretti. It sounds
I remember
almost.
that.
It almost sounds to a T identical to AJ Foyt.
The David Hobbs, when he was talking about, so in the 1983 Daytona 500, I remember watching that race on TV, and they had an in-car camera in Cale's car, and Cale wins the race. He goes on and drives runs a great race, wins the race, and during the entire race, you could hear him. You could hear like a guy in there going, ah! And you could hear it. And I remember that. I mean, we could pull it up on YouTube right freaking now, and you would be able to hear it when they go to the in-car of Cale. And David Hobbs came in here and told the story of them thinking that they were getting some bad feedback or something. There was some sort of short or something in their audio. In that in-car camera, but it ended up being Cale mimicking the sound of the motor as he's driving around the racetrack.
When we really got serious about it, a couple of years later, we had one in Cale's car. And these guys, all through practice, are saying, we got this funny kind of feedback. And we don't know what it is. We looked at all the wiring, and we looked at this, and we looked at that, and go out again, and God, it's still there, What the hell is it? some sort of feedback. It turned out that Cale, when he's driving, mimics the engine. So he's sitting there going, and these guys are looking all over the place for some sort of wiring malfunction.
Yes.
And it's all the time it's Cale going.
So this I
a
believe is like the 1983 or 84 Daytona 500.
Yeah,
and
so-
he won the race, right? Didn't he?
That-
And if you listen to the broadcast, you can hear it. You can hear Cale in there going.
Yeah. Well, there you go. But the first year they just didn't know what the hell it was.
I don't think that anybody to this day. I mean, I don't know that I've ever heard that story told publicly. Like Dillner, you're a historian, and you've never heard that Cale
That's the first time.
Cale Yarborough mimicked the engine entirely,
Causing the producers all kinds of
Imagine
chaos.
his whole career. I wonder what he did on the short tracks.
That's hysterical.
What did he do for the brakes?
Right. What do you do for the crashes? Pow! Owie!
Yeah, owie, yeah.
The way this show sort of uncovers those secrets.
Yeah.
And so now think about it. Now, Cale Yarborough was racing in the Daytona 500. He's in 1983, right? He's raced through the 60s and 70s, into the 80s. And he won the Daytona 500, and who knows for how long, was sitting in the car every race, every weekend, mimicking the sound of the motor like a kid.
Our television producer, Brian, goes back and he gets that footage, and he comes back and tells us he's doing it the whole race.
Absolutely.
Even when he makes passes, he's like, passing people. I mean, he's sitting there doing the sounds as he's making passes and everything.
Now we had amazing guests and amazing conversations, but maybe one nugget like that would pop up every show where everybody would go, "What?" And that is a crazy thing.
Yeah.
When that happens in the show. And that was the moment for me in that particular episode with Hobbs. I mean, he was funny. I was hoping we were going to get some of his impressions. He does a Jackie Stewart. It's pretty freaking amazing.
That's right.
But the fact that Cale Yarborough, I mean, he was one of my heroes, was inside the car. It's crazy. It's crazy to think about that.
That was great. All right, funny moments, you guys. What else do y'all have, and what has social media told us as well? But you first, Leah. Go ahead.
Well, social media, obviously, John Force Pornhub, that was number one across everything. But then Dale Jr. pooping on the side of the road, which you talked about.
Oh yeah.
Boyer getting locked in Junior's basement.
Oh, that's right.
And my favorite, the hot dog condiment debate.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that one.
Ketchup still.
Because of his shirt.
Yeah.
So, if I remember correctly, he was wearing his hot dog with ketchup shirt on.
And I just was like, what are you wearing?
Yeah,
and then it turned into this huge debate about ketchup or mustard on a hot dog.
And that was after the show.
The shirt, to be honest, is a hot dog and mustard.
Yeah.
High-fiving.
Yeah, because they're pals, like you said.
Because they're friends.
Yeah.
They go together.
I disagree.
They hang.
Yeah.
No. You disagreeing is what led to this entire conversation.
They go on vacations annually.
Heart-shaped hot tubs.
What is that?
There's a hot dog high-fiving a bottle of mustard.
Of yellow mustard.
Yeah, they're pals.
Any other questions about that?
I know, because...
like, maybe why?
Yeah.
I didn't know they were high-fiving.
You did, because they're friends. Yeah. Hot dog and mustard are very close pals. What? Is this news?
I'm going to break your heart again. I hate mustard.
Oh. So you put ketchup on your hot dog?
Yeah.
But not mustard.
No,
and she doesn't watch The Office.
I don't put mustard on anything.
That's crazy. It's no calories, you know.
Ketchup does.
0 calories. Ketchup has calories.
Mustard and hot dogs are like best friends.
Ew.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Ketchup?
Oh.
I mean, I'll put ketchup on there, but not without mustard. Ketchup alone on a hot dog is freaking weird.
That's for 5-year-olds.
It's weird, anyways.
Yeah.
This has been a condiment-heavy show today, by the way, between the mayonnaise and the shots and this mustard ketchup conversation.
I think it needs hot dog needs mustard down one side, ketchup down the other, chili, and then dill relish.
Ooh,
You ever
I'm there
you
for
ever
the
do the
dill.
slaw? Do you like slaw with the chili too?
Nope. Dill.
No?
I do.
I'm
I
there
do
for
not.
the dill. I'll agree with you on the dill relish.
You there for the dill?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
But with ketchup.
Celery salt. A little pinch of celery salt.
God
on it
dang,
too,
man, where are you getting your hot
Tell 'em
dogs
that's
from?
like
Freaking
Chicago
Epic
style, man.
Steakhouse or what? I mean, this is a freaking it's hot dog out of the damn backyard.
That's how we do it at the grill outs,
On a
man. At the
stick.
Intimidators.
I need a pinch of
Celery salt.
Give
Give you a little pinch there, and a little pinch there, and a little squirt of chili here, but
Jesus.
Mwah, it's a perfect.
Bam!
Salt Bay.
Mwah, it's beautiful.
I'd say
what else?
clearly it's the guy sitting across from you.
Oh.
It's Mike Davis because your rants. I wish, like at the beginning of the year, we thought about having a whole rant thing for you, like a whole rant segment. But I know we do things naturally. We don't set up things and fake things.
That's right.
But
We don't even have a pre-pro meeting.
Yeah.
It'd be cool though if you did throw together like a short YouTube 6 minutes or something
of Mike
rants.
ranting.
Well,
But
I
your
don't
rant,
remember
your
many
rant
rants.
about the internet as a marketplace of morons was incredible. But your stories too, like the fact that you came on and talked about your California trip, and you told the story of the man in the park with a erection,
Right.
was one of the most unexpected moments I've ever heard in my life.
I haven't even told you guys the craziest part of this trip.
It wasn't the tire blowing out?
No. And I'm trying to decide how I can even say this, but listen, we were in San Francisco, and we had a friend that took us around that day, and I got pictures. All right, so look, so we take my kids, my daughter, I got a 10 and a 7-year-old, take it to a park. Now in San Francisco, they don't give a damn. All right, and there was this guy who was suntanning in the park with just like a thong on and a toboggan.
Wait,
A toboggan?
A toboggan on his head and a white thong. And my daughter sees it. She's like, that man's in his underwear. And I'm like, hey, it's all good, whatever.
We're in San
All right,
Francisco.
so how do I do this? He developed an erection.
Oh my goodness.
First time erection's been set up.
So so he developed an erection. And everybody.
He developed it.
How close were y'all to this man?
Do you want to see?
No.
Wait.
I got. Listen. So listen. I'm
photobomb y'all's pictures?
I'm videoing my daughter because she was doing these little things where she's like, okay, right now we're in San Francisco, we're at the park and stuff, and she goes and she's talking about this dog that's in the park and she thinks the dog's cute, and then I catch this scene here with the guy, and I'm like, and I start laughing, and then Gracie says, she goes, that man has something sticking out of his underwear. I got it on video.
Oh no!
I would have put it on social, but I don't even know what's appropriate at that point.
Yeah, that's probably not.
Yeah, I mean, you know.
Good call.
Can I just tell y'all that just 2 weeks ago, somebody sent me on Twitter a picture of that same man in the same park, and he, without an erection.
Oh, so he's not a serial
right.
erector.
But he is still in that park. I mean, he's a regular there. They sent me a picture of him. They're like,
weird, dude.
Your buddy still here,
old knit hat,
still getting it done. Still same white
toboggan,
thong, same thong. Yep.
Oh, my.
Same thong and
beanie
toboggan.
cap. Yep. So, if anybody was wondering how he's doing, we got updates.
worried.
There you go.
He's still healthy. He's still alive.
Well, one of the funny moments, not at the time, since you mentioned that, it wasn't funny for me at the time, but as I look back at it, it's pretty hysterical, was our fights and debates. and in particular, when y'all got me so wound up on purpose. Y'all, SOBs.
Remember when he called us Ren and Stimpy?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome.
And
Leah doesn't have an original idea.
Yes, that was what was popping into my mind. None of y'all's. I thought it was none of y'all's opinions matter, but it was that. Leah never had.
Yeah,
an
I think it was
original
all in the
thought.
same conversation, wasn't
Yeah,
it? It was the one about Menard and Burton, Harrison Burton. It Loudon. They got into a little whatever it was, and I thought it ended somewhat friendly, and then you guys just decided to pile on. But
we
it was
pile
funny.
on you a lot between the miles per hour and the seconds.
Oh,
and
yeah.
things.
Oh, yeah,
we basically bully you.
You bully. That's a good word.
We
No,
coerce.
There's not a perfect word.
We
Mike
coerce
does not get
the
bullied.
internet and Twitter in particular
That's
to bully
where y'all
you.
bully me. It's not on here. It's you then take it to social media, and then you get all your minions to pile on me, and that's
Here comes the rant.
That's where no, I could rant about that. Frankly.
Can't wait to see how many tweets we get with just gifs of minions.
Well, but it is. I mentioned that as in fun. That was fun. And
What's up, Ren?
So
Stimpy.
it's just the gift that keeps on giving.
Motorboating son of a.
Man, I'm excited about this.